So, of course, when I set out to make a video called Full Disclosure, naturally, I forget to disclose some of what I was intending to say. So, I want to follow up on the video I made the other day. Two of the things that I talked about there were that part of why I wanted to start this channel and make these videos is because when you go through a kind of grinding process like what I've been through, and to varying degrees I'm still going through, you do learn some things. There is a kind of, years of self-reflection. There is a kind of wisdom that can come, hopefully. And a few years ago, I realized that I had all these things that I had experienced and reflected on for myself, but I didn't really have ways of sharing them with anyone, really, beyond the few close people that I have in my life. And so at that point, I made a prayer. I said, look, if there's anybody who would benefit from hearing these stories and hearing what I've experienced and hearing what it can be like to go through this kind of grinding process where you actually come through to something deeper and sweeter and more genuine, I'm open to that. So bring those people to me. If there's anyone who would benefit from this, I'd be glad to speak with them. And it's pretty, there's been a handful of people who have just kind of shown up in my life that I've been able to talk with very honestly about what I went through and about some very difficult things that they're going through. So that is part of the intention of wanting to make these videos, just to share human experience, not to cram it down anyone else's throat, or not because I'm better than anyone else or any of that crap, but just if in that sharing there's something valuable that gets communicated that can provide comfort or connection or inspiration to someone else. That was the first thing that I said and intended to say. The other thing I said was, if it ever happens that enough people end up watching these videos and there's some value in it, and this becomes even a small source of income in my situation, that would be helpful. So I don't need that. I don't necessarily anticipate that. I'm not closing the door to it, but that would be helpful. So I just wanted to own up that is also part of the intention of doing this. I didn't make money, even though I committed fraud. I didn't make money from my crime. I lost everything. And I haven't dwelled on that because the important thing, I did what I did. It was my choice. The important thing was how I caused other people to lose money. But I came out of my crime and my foolishness with less than nothing and a huge restitution order. So it's just part of the practicalities of life to earn a living for whatever ways I can for the rest of my life. And I've done everything since I got out of prison, from washing garbage cans at a composting facility to banging metal in a metal shop making maple syrup evaporators, to doing human service work, to cleaning people's houses. I've done whatever I needed to do. So if it ever happens that any income comes from this, that's great. I'm a human being living in a human world, and I need to earn money like everybody else. I have no savings. I have no resources beyond what I earn. And I'm grateful for the chances that I have to earn that money. The things that I forgot to say in the first video, and one of the most important, again, I don't want to rank them, but something that was really important is that it still hurts for me, even after all this time, to live with the ways that my foolish mistakes, my naivete, my deceptiveness, and my criminal behavior hurt other people. That's an ongoing source of conflict in my system. And it's an ongoing source of conflict because, as I've said in other videos here, I have not had the capacity to sit down with everyone who was affected by my crime and say, look, here's what happened. Here's why I did what I did. Tell me what it was like for you. I'm so sorry. Tell me what happened to you, to your family. Tell me how you feel about me and what happened here, or wherever that conversation might go. That would have to happen with hundreds of people. And as an older man who got pretty much squashed in this myself, I don't say this with pride or defensiveness or anything, but I just have not had the capacity to have hundreds of those conversations. I simply don't have the energy or the willpower or the strength, in a way, to do that. So another motivation in doing this was, how can I communicate in a genuine way to the people, specifically to the people who trusted me and were harmed or affected or violated by this whole experience? So I've learned in this process that when you make the kind of mistakes that I made, it doesn't always matter if you apologize. And it definitely doesn't always make things right. But it is important to me to continue to make the effort to speak truthfully, to speak from a place of hopefully renewed integrity about things that didn't have integrity, specifically to the people who were affected by my actions in those places and in those ways. So that is an ongoing part of why I wanted to make this channel, to at least make the effort to speak with and communicate with and reveal what happened to the people who were harmed by what happened. So that's one of the things that I forgot to say in the first full disclosure video. And the last thing that I can remember, at least for right now, is that I've been a writer or I've considered myself a writer for much of my adult life. And I've spent lots of time writing things down and rewriting and agonizing and changing words and going through many times, I used that word before, I need to find a different word here. And that's not what this channel and what these videos are about. My days of that kind of careful, even agonized writing are over. I don't have the stomach for it anymore. I don't have the interest in it. What I am interested in is a conversation and an open expression of what happened, what I've experienced, what may or may not be of value to other people because of what I've experienced. I want this to be, or my intention is for this to be, clear conversational communication of all of that. I don't write anything down here. That's why I make mistakes. That's why I stumble over things. That's why I forget things. But the intention of this channel is to communicate as clearly, as genuinely, as naturally as I can about whatever it is that I'm talking about. So if it seems clumsy at times, if I forget things or repeat things or don't say things as well as I would like to, or even forget what the hell I was saying in the middle of one of the videos, that's okay with me. I hope it's okay with you. And that's what I want the tone of these videos and this conversation to be. So thank you very much for coming here. I just ran into a woman at the store the other day who had found the channel and was listening to things and was really enjoying them. So coming from a set of experiences which very much isolated me and required me to live with myself and look into myself and look into who I was and why I had done what I had done, it's very touching for me to begin to find the energy and the opportunity to have these conversations with people I've known, with people I've never known, with people I don't know yet. So thank you for coming here to listen. Thank you for bearing with the imperfections of these videos. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your comments. I'm always interested to hear what you have to say. If something touches you, or if something feels off to you, or something matters to you, I'd love to hear about it. As I've said a couple times here, I'm not good at this whole like and subscribe thing, but it does help to put this channel and these videos in front of other people. So if you like, subscribe, comment, like other people's comments and posts, that apparently helps get this in front of people who might not see it otherwise. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope to see you again soon.